A very good morning, dear children. Today we are going to start with chapter 9, Disaster Management. Now, this is a topic which we have already learnt in the previous standards, and we know that disaster means any event which causes huge loss to life and property. And we've also seen that disaster is divided into two, as natural disaster and man-made disaster, depending upon the sources of it. We have seen a lot of examples of natural and man-made disasters, but in this chapter we will be dealing only with three main disasters. All right, earthquake, fire, and landslide. These are the three which we will be learning in this one chapter. So we're going to start with the first one, that is earthquake. Now, we know that earth has four major layers are there: inner core, outer core, mantle, and crust. Now, the crust or the surface of the earth is made up of pieces which are called as the tectonic plates. So we know that there are tectonic plates are there. That means many pieces are there which are covering or making up the surface of the earth. So we can say that these pieces, they actually form the entire surface of the earth. So the tectonic plates are there which form the surface of the earth, and these tectonic plates actually, they move or they slide past one another. They are not constant, they slide against one another. Now, when does an earthquake occur? When these pieces are sliding against one another, sometimes they get stuck at one point. Now, what happens? Because they are getting stuck at a point, the energy that is needed for its movement actually gets accumulated at that one point. Okay, because the energy is getting accumulated continuously, at one particular point it gets released all of a sudden. This release of the energy all of a sudden at a point brings about vibration at that point, which is called as the epicenter. Okay, and this leads to the formation of earthquake. We'll just repeat this again. We know that the crust or the surface of the earth is in the form of pieces which are called as the tectonic plates. Okay, now these plates actually are sliding against one another. When they are sliding against one another, sometimes they get stuck at a point. So when they get stuck at a point, the energy starts accumulating at the point, and all of a sudden it releases out. This release of the energy causes earthquake, and the point at which it is caused is called as the epicenter, which is on the surface of the earth. Okay, now this release of energy causes certain waves to move away from that point, which is called as the seismic waves. This seismic waves, it actually shakes the entire earth, and also what is on the earth's surface, that means all the buildings and the houses, that also gets affected because of the seismic waves. Okay, now the shocks which are created because of the earthquake, it can be mild or it can be intense. Every day you have earthquakes noticed at some or the other places on the earth. According to the observation of National Earthquake Information Center, every year approximately 12,400 to 14,000 earthquakes occur on the earth. Okay, from this it is obviously clearly understood that the earth is continuously vibrating. The machine or the instrument which records the earthquake is called as a seismograph or the seismometer, and the intensity of the earthquake is measured. As you can see here, because of the vibration, the graph that is made also changes. That actually indicates how intense or how mild the earthquake shocks created by the earthquake are. The seismometer can be of two: horizontal, which is on the left, and vertical, which is on the right. You can see the variations brought about in the reading that is being taken by these seismometers. Easily it is understood when the earthquake is occurred. Earthquake can be caused because of many reasons, which include volcanic eruption, the stress of water in the big dams on the earth, mining, and also underground atomic test. Many a times we also know that water, it percolates through the cracks of the earth, and because of heat this water, it converts into steam. The steam tries to come out from the earth's surface, which also causes earthquake. Okay, let's look at the effect of earthquake. As you can see, earthquake causes loss of life and property. We know that earthquake brings about loss of human beings, animals, plants. It also causes a lot of economic loss because buildings gets destroyed, roads get destroyed, houses get destroyed, tracks, railway tracks get destroyed. So all these are the possible effects of earthquake. Many a times when earthquake occurs at the bottom of the ocean, it also creates tsunami waves and causes large destruction in the coastal region too. Now, we cannot stop any of the earthquakes, or we cannot stop what destruction it causes, but we can take certain precautions. What are the precautions one should take during an earthquake? If you are at home, then sit on the floor or below the bed or under any furniture. Cover yourself till the time the movement of the earth stops. If there is no table, then you need to take shelter. You have no place to take shelter, then sit in a corner and cover your head by folding your hands around it. If you are outside or if you are in the vehicle, park your vehicle at a very safe place and sit inside it, but be sure that it is not near any tree or any tall building or an electric pole. Always remember, when you are in the building, do not use lift because there are chances that electricity may go off, so a lift may stop working and you may get stuck inside it. So never use a lift during a earthquake. Always use the staircase. Okay, and many a times because of earthquake there are also possibilities of fire, so always switch off the main electric supply. Do not use candles or matchbox or lantern or anything of that sort. Nowadays we have something called as the earthquake proof building or earthquake resistant buildings. These are the buildings which are constructed in such a way that they do not get destroyed during an earthquake. There is advanced technology which is being used to construct such buildings. The main logic behind this is that they use the technique called base isolation, which means that the buildings are not connected to the ground directly. They have certain structures that separate it from the ground like this. These structures absorb the seismic waves and do not allow the waves to reach the building, because of which the building gets protected. Fire. When you talk about forest fire, it is a natural calamity, but otherwise if you're talking about the remaining fire, then it is man-made calamity. So fire can be both natural as well as a man-made calamity. Fire based upon the source is divided into 6 types. Now in your textbooks you have only 5 classes given, but here I've mentioned 6 classes of fire. Class A is when the fire is caused because of flammable solids. Class B is flammable liquids. Class C is flammable gases. D is for any chemical, like fire can be caused when chemicals like potassium, sodium, calcium, they react with water at normal temperature. and magnesium, aluminium, zinc reacts with water at high temperature. So what happens when these chemicals come in contact with water? They explode, causing fire. So that kind of substances come under class D. Class F is whenever fire is caused because of oil or because of grease, then that is class F. And class E is electrical fires. That means whenever fire is caused because of some electrical components, then that is class E. Now, why are we classifying fire? First of all, because based upon the source of fire, we need to take precautions of it. Whenever there is fire, everybody will try to extinguish it. Now, you cannot use the same method for every class of fire. For example, if there is a situation where there is fire caused because of some electrical components, so obviously electrical components means it is a class E fire. Okay, if it is a class E fire, I cannot use water to extinguish the fire. If I'm using water, I'm only going to increase the problem. I am not going to reduce the fire, or I cannot put off that fire with water. I can use water when it is a class A fire. That means when there is any paper is on fire, or any cloth is on fire, or wood is on fire, at that time I can use water. But if it is class E, I cannot use water. So it is very important that you understand the fire is from which class, so that you can use the appropriate method for extinguishing the fire. So now let's look at the different methods of extinguishing fire. First method is water, as I already told you. Water is the most common and the most effective solution that is easily available everywhere. So what do? You spray water on the fire or around the fire, because it gives the cooling effect and helps to control the fire. The second is suppress the fire. This technique is used for the fire that is caused because of oil or because of grease or electricity. The cloth which he is putting on the pan, it is not a normal cloth. You cannot put cloth on fire. Always remember, it's a fire blanket. Okay, a fire blanket is used to put on the fire that is caused because of electricity, oil, grease, etc. The basic logic behind this is that we block the contact of fire with air, and because you're stopping the contact of fire and air, it helps in extinguishing the fire. All right, and we know the third method, it is to use a fire extinguisher. Now, whenever there is fire, there are certain precautions and safety measures to be taken. First of all, call the fire brigade. Okay. Second is, try to alert everybody around. That means you need to shout loudly that there is fire and make others alert about it, so that at least someone else can call for help. Another thing is that always be sure that your gas regulators and your electrical appliances are switched off during such situation. If in case any person is getting affected because of fire, calm the person down and try to call the doctor as soon as possible. Now coming to landslides. We know that there are natural cracks present in hard rocks which cause their breaking. But many a times, because of heavy rain, water enters these cracks, causing weathering of the cracks, and the weight of the rocks increase, which causes them to slide through the slopy region, causing landslides. Many a times when there are disasters like earthquake, tsunami, flood, that also causes landslide. But the major reason of landslide to be caused is cutting of the tree. We know that trees or plants help to hold on the roots of the plants. It holds on to the surface below it, making the soil remain in a particular part and avoids its moving down. However, in cases when you are cutting off trees or during deforestation, this holding onto the soil particles by the root is not possible, because of which landslides occur. Even building of roads in mountains is also a reason for landslide, because there's a lot of digging that is made and it makes the mountain weak. Effect of landslide. We know that landslide causes a huge loss of life. Humans, animals are affected because of landslide. Other than this, it also causes financial loss, that is, the houses, buildings, vehicles, everything is destroyed because of landslide. Other than that, landslide affects the traffic and affects movement from one place to another. It also, if it is happening near a river, the river gets flooded, and many a times waterfalls, they get displaced, and there is formation of artificial water reservoirs also. So this was for landslide. But for any disaster, for any kind of precaution to be taken during a disaster, mock drills are done. Mock drill is where experienced trainers, they try to create awareness among people by showing what has to be done during a disaster. So what they do is they try to create a situation purposely so that they can teach others how they are supposed to behave during a disaster. If you see in the pictures which are shown on the screen, the top two pictures, there purposely fire is created so that they can teach others by showing them how to use fire extinguishers. So mock drill is a situation where a fake situation is created, a fake disaster is created, and awareness is created among people so that people observe how they are supposed to do things during a disaster. So mock drill is one such step that can be taken by experienced people to spread awareness among the others. Alright, so I hope this chapter is clear to all. Thank you.